Hi everyone, I'm Daniel and I look after learning here at Silverchef. And today I have a question for you, and it is: do you learn like an adult? So what I'd like to do is run you through a couple of lists. One is basically how children learn, and another is how adults learn. And what I'd like you to do, following the video, is to look through both lists and just really think about how you best learn, and really think about this as you go through the Open Learning program. So our first list that we have today is around how children learn. Now, if I quickly run through the list, a couple of the items that we've got here, children typically tend to be a lot more dependent, so they rely on others to help them learn. They require structures and schedules, so we all remember back to our childhood and school and terms and days of the week. So there's lots of structure and schedules around learning. Children learn through repetition, so it's all about doing, and doing. And they learn from teachers, so they learn from people telling them what to do. Children also are exposed to learning that is volume-based, so it's lots and lots of learning. So if we all think back to school and how much learning we had to do throughout a week and through terms, it was all about volume. You also come from a clean slate prior to the learning. So anytime you do learning as a child, you've got no previous experiences or thoughts around that. You just come from a clean slate. There's also a lot of focus on completion and achievement in child learning. So it's all about hitting your grades, hitting the end of term, and hitting each year through as you go through school as well. And lastly, as a child, you don't necessarily know what your preferences are for taking on information and learning, which are a couple of different styles that you tend to learn as an adult. So that's the first list that I'd like you to think about. And I guess if we really think about it, sometimes within organisations, some of our learning programs in the past have been set up to help you learn like a child and maybe not like an adult. So what I would like you to think about is, do you learn like an adult? So this is the adult list now. So the learning for an adult is a little bit different. It's typically independently driven. So learning is all about you going to find the learning and finding information and learning that's relevant to you. Adult learning also requires a significant amount of personal reflection. So once you've done the learning, it's really walking away, going away and thinking about what that learning means to you. Typically adults learn through experience, so we have to apply the learning as soon as possible to the learning being completed. We learn from others as well. So when you're in a learning space as an adult, it's really important that you have your ears open to others around you because you can learn so much from others. Learning is typically targeted and specific, so it relates to our job or our role or our passion. There's also typically unlearning and relearning to be involved. That's what makes learning as an adult really, really tough, because sometimes we have to forget about the things that we've been trained to do in the past, unlearn it, and then relearn a different way of doing things. There's also a focus on continuity. So over on the child side, we spoke about a focus on completion and achievement. As an adult, it's about always learning. Every single day, every single hour, every single week, learning something different. And lastly, you typically as an adult know your preferences for taking on information and learning, which means that you can be a little bit more targeted, as we said earlier, around your learning. So I'll kind of leave you with those two lists. Really think about how you best learn, and as you tackle the Open Learning program, I guess I just leave you with that question: are you an adult learner?